Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to I Am Human. I am your host for tonight, Bunny Sugars, and today we have a very, very special guest with us. But before then, remember, if you have any questions specifically for our special guest today, we're a little bit having a time today. But if you have any questions for our guest, if you want to get to know the background of psychics and how we work, feel free to ask your burning questions in the chat. If you are watching through Facebook and YouTube, do remember, where this is not your standard psychic show, we won't be answering personal questions to you. We'll more so be answering generally or questions about our practitioners or how we work and what it is we do. So just keep that in mind when you guys are typing in your questions. But thank you all so much for joining and jumping in here with us. We're going to go ahead and get started because today I'm back in the driver's seat. Last week it was uncomfortable because I had no control, but today I'm back in full control. And my guest for today, in a funny reversal of fate, is the wonderful, the marvelous, our man. I don't know what to call him. I was going to give like this really nice incomparable dictionary word, but it just didn't come out. But this is Journey Ryan. This is the man with the plan.
Hey, hi, what's up?
I was really trying to give you a good word. Nothing came to mind. So I'm like,
you know, sometimes that happens. We get those brain farts, and then we're just like left to try to fill in the blank, and you're like, damn it.
It is like that a lot this week. Wednesday's going to be a mess. So everybody, this is Journey Ryan. He is our wonderful CEO. This is the man behind My Psychic Connection. So
yes,
take the stage. Tell them all about you, my guy.
Well, you guys know me for the amount of time that I've been here. My name's Journey Ryan. I've been doing psychic readings for over 25 years. I've been helping people along my path, going from place to place. You know, one day I decided that I wanted to open up something where great psychics could come and be a part of this situation and be able to give people the answers they seek. You know, it takes more than one person to make the word get out there. So I, looked around and found some great, amazing psychics along my path and, brought them to where they can be, see that they can get real answers and not some of that bubblegum stuff that I've seen out there. Everybody who picks up a deck of tarot, they automatically assume that they're psychic. There's a lot of work that comes with it. And just like any craft or gift, you have to work at it to make it, you got to fine tune it to make it a great thing. But yeah, I've been doing this for 25 years professionally. Now, mind you, my whole life I've been psychic, and my parents have raised me in that manner once they found out. And they found out very quickly that I had the ability to do a lot of different things. So yeah, definitely feeling really good about everything and being a part of this show and being able to bring all these people to you guys. But we'll get more into all those other little details because I know that Bunny's got some great questions for me today.
Oh yes, I have many questions because today it's not like I can't pick your brain any other day of the week, but this time is a little special because I get to do it publicly this time. Journey knows he'll just get a random message from me sometimes, and I'm just like, okay, so then what about this? I have questions. I'm a curious cat. So
everybody has questions. I get messages all the time asking certain little things, or what do you get with this, or what do you get with that, and and it's like trying to tell everybody, hey, I'll get back with you here in just a little bit because I need to have some me time, or just to decompress, because that's the whole purpose of letting people know about this show, I Am Human, is that we are human and that we have that, we need to be able to be human and do human things and not always be like a workhorse or a machine that is always doing something. So yeah. All right. So
it's hard to not do that though.
Yeah, it's very hard not to be able to do that. And someone just said, are you okay? You look different. Yeah, I'm fine. Other than my allergies are bothering me, I'm great.
The allergies are going wild for us over here in the United States right now. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what is wrong with our weather. It is confusing and it is lost. It is just lost in the sauce. One minute it's 75, next minute it's snowing. We're
Well,
tired.
it's snowing here, so
Yeah, keep
where
that
I'm
over
at,
there.
it's snowing.
I don't want it. I don't want what you got going on. I'm not ready.
Right. You're not ready. Got it.
No. So remember, everyone, when you're asking your questions, we're going to be asking questions specifically for Journey or just, psychics in general, whatever, what it is you want to know about how we work and how we operate. So are you ready for these questions?
I am ready to hit these questions, guys. If you have any questions to ask me about myself, go ahead and put them in the room. We're going to be more than happy to answer some of those questions much later on. Well,
Yes.
around the last 15 minutes. I know you said that already, but I see people asking psychic
Yeah.
questions that are not. So
That's
I
all
wanted
right.
to reiterate. Yep, of course.
Look, that's okay. We're both kind of in our own way of control. I have Journey energy to a certain degree, and then he has more Journey energy. So then we just kind of, it's not a clash. It's just we'll say the same thing over and over again.
Exactly. Reiterate the same thing over and over. All right.
Re-radiate.
What are the questions? Right. I'm so excited about to hear the questions that you have for me.
Yes. So you said your parents kind of figured out you were a medium very young, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How old is young? Because young is subjective. So how old were you when you started, or they started realizing you had these gifts?
Basically when I was in the womb, I was like, it started there. That's how she knew. That's how my mom knew she was pregnant with me, is getting premonitions, not the way she would typically get a premonition, but in a different way. And she automatically knew, and so did my grandmother. And so outside of that, after I was born, it wasn't very long. I would say I started showing signs of it after about a year of age. I was very aware as a infant, so they saw it and helped me build it up because they didn't want to deny me something that I was already very good at and seeing things from. So,
That's interesting. Because a lot of us, we kind of start figuring it out maybe closer toward our early teen years. You were already prep ready and new from the moment you entered this world. So that's really interesting. Are your parents, you said your mother is a medium. Is your father also, or is he in some way? Oh, so both of your parents are mediums.
Yes, both on both sides of my family. We have these amazing family members that have done work with my dad's side of the family. His was his great grandfather, which makes him my great great grandfather. Actually worked with Edgar Casey. His pictures in his museum. You guys can actually go to Virginia and actually see that. He's a part of that, and his name is Lucian. So you guys can check that out if you ever go to the Edgar Casey Museum. You'll see my great great grandfather helping him along with his mediumship and his abilities to heal people. On my mom's side of the family, of 7 girls, my mom is the middle child of 7 girls, and my father's also in the middle there too. So he's got 7 siblings, well, 6 on each side. They're both families of 7, and I know that they've done a lot, and they've been through a lot, and they've shared all of their amazing stories with me, helped kind of mold me into who I am. And then they decided that it was time for me to start learning outside of what the family had to teach me and to broaden my horizons, which opened the door to many different things.
Oh, I see. That's really interesting because I feel like it's rare when you meet someone or hear about someone who is raised into this. A lot of us, for the audience clarification, because a lot of you guys may not know, usually most psychic mediums or just psychics in general or anyone with that kind of spiritual skill, we kind of figure it out. We have little hints early on. We don't often That was a word. Often get the chance to explore. Look, the Dolly Parton is coming out of me. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't often get the chance to explore that. This could be due to
Mm-hmm.
cultural reasons. This could be religious differences, especially with certain types of sex people. This could be a lot of reasons why a lot of us cannot explore that into ourselves, whether it's environmental or just familial. And we often don't realize it until we're a little bit ahead in life. So you start getting the inklings when you're like maybe in your early teens, when you start opening up that way, especially to
Yeah.
yourself. And then by the time you're in your 20s, it's like either full blown or just gone. And never fully gone. It's just suppressed, is what I like to call that. So
Yeah.
it's kind of rare when you can listen and talk to someone who has been here since like their day one was in the spiritual world. So, Journey, how do you feel it's been different for you in compared to others? Like, is it a more rewarding sort of way to go, or did you find it more challenging than others would typically find it, maybe?
So when it comes to me in that situation, I find it very rewarding to be able to provide people the information and get to know some of the psychics around the world as I've gone through my travels and have met some amazing people. Um, Sorry, my friend's blowing my phone up for no reason. I only told her I had an interview today. Um, but the energy that I got, it's all rewarding. And I've heard people walk around, oh, it's a blessing, oh, it's a curse. It is what you see it as.
Mm-hmm.
And where people can say, oh, this was a curse, is that once people realize you have the capability of sight, feeling, hearing, seeing, speaking to the dead, whatever it is that you've got going on that you have, people forget that you're a person. And I know that sounds silly. And a lot of people, oh no, I remember you're a person. You don't, because the thing that I've run across, and numerous psychics can back me up on this, is that they stop talking about everyday things and start talking about only the psychic things that they want to hear or get some understanding about. So that part could probably be the curse, but for the most part, it's been nothing but a blessing for me. And, like I said, continuing to keep growing and keep moving forward and being able to help people, it's wonderful because I get the chance to change someone's life where it was possibly going in a very negative direction to put it in a very positive direction. Now that doesn't always work, and there can be consequences to certain things, to where maybe someone doesn't hear what they want or they don't do what you want them to do. I can only be me and give them what I see and what I know. And people can go against you. They'll say whatever to try to ruin your reputation if you don't make them happy. So but I don't let that get me down. I continue to keep fighting. Continue to keep doing what I do, and I'm here for the people who actually want it rather than the people who aren't really looking for it. That's why my Psychic Connection was created, to give people a place to be heard, feel safe, and get the readings that they need. Because I've seen some people out there who, when they ask those questions, they'll ridicule the question. I'm like, oh my God, explain it to them. Explain it to them. All you got to do is explain. People will listen if you explain. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for the person. They're asking a question because within them they have the need to know the answer, because they can't wrap their mind around what it is that they're going through. So that's why I tell everybody, no question is stupid. But there comes a time and a place where, if anybody that's coming for an actual reading has something in mind that they would like to communicate about, and there are things out there where people just think, oh, it is what it is, or your actions play a big part in the things that you do, getting the answers. Now we're going to go into a part where other religions see tarot and things like that to be dangerous or the devil's work. The problem with it is that anything that's ever done that they don't understand is automatically the devil. And I am a minister. I also went to college for religion. I've studied 73 different religions, and I'm going to tell you, a lot of them come back to the same things. They have roots, and trust me, there's a lot to uncover, a lot to understand when it comes to that. So I'm very open to hearing what people have to say, but I do get that people try to push their narrative onto you to try to make you change your reading. But when it comes to getting readings, the reason why everybody says that's the devil is it can change. You can change a yes to a no to a yes. It's all by action. By knowing the information before it happens can change outcomes, and not that outcome doesn't just affect you, but it affects the people around you. It's like a ripple effect. It's like putting a drop of water into a pool. You see that how it expands because you did it differently.
Yep.
So
Yep.
knowledge is power, and knowing things ahead of time, it's power.
It is. Sometimes it's too much power, because sometimes I've noticed this a lot, especially with our clients. They'll kind of want you to push away into shifting. It's like almost shifting someone else's free will. We're powerful. We have all the power in the world, but we cannot do that. That is impossible. Like, I tell my clients this all the time. You could literally breathe in the northeast direction, and someone could come in from the south and cross you crossing the street, and your whole timeline can change. Like, it doesn't take much. And that free will of you choosing and deciding in that moment to sneeze, and the free will of someone else deciding to walk across the street, can change everything you have going on that day.
Right.
Unfortunately, I feel like we end up getting a lot of the short end of the stick, because it's like, well, you told us it was going to happen that way, so why didn't it happen that way? You're a fake, you're a fraud. It's like, no, you just decided to cross the street. No one said you had to go cross the street. You didn't have to go to Walmart today. You chose to go.
Right. So people have to take responsibility for their actions. And the same thing with getting told that you're getting, let's say you got a reading about a job. You heard you're going to get the job. In your head, you hear, I've got the job, so I got this. You go in there with less energy than you were going to go in there with. So yeah, your actions do play a huge part in this. So remember, when getting a reading or getting this type of understanding of what's to come, you still have to do what you originally were going to do in order to make things happen. Now, we will tell you, we'll warn you about things that you're doing that can push somebody away. If you continue to keep doing it and then say that you didn't, that doesn't change the action. You're still going to lose the person. You know, there's things that people don't want you to know, and that's why private readings work a little bit stronger, where you can get more in depth, because if sometimes a person doesn't want to air out their dirty laundry. That's why on My Psychic Connection we don't do generals, because of all that laundry that comes out. I've done it on numerous times. Radio shows. I was doing radio for 10 years before I started doing the lives like this, and we're still on the radio. We're still on iHeart, and I did it, and the lady was like, wanting to know about her boyfriend. And I was like, this is not a good relationship for you. I said, he is cheating on you. And then I went into detail about who the person was, what was going on. And they were like, the boyfriend was sitting right beside her and started cussing me out on the air. We had to end the call, but I was like, and this is why we don't do general.
No, it's awkward. Oh my God.
Very awkward. It was a very awkward moment.
Chaos, because as long as you don't go, if you want to pay money to curse me out, go for it. Because at the end of the day, I'm still getting paid. You can take all that hostility out. We still have to get paid for our services. So at the same time, I'm here for that kind of chaos, because I would love to just air things out. Maybe I'm just messy. I'm a Sagittarius. Maybe I'm just messy. I don't want to be in it, but I want to coach you through it. I just don't want to be personally involved. Don't talk to me about this. I'm too chaotic for this. I'm like, this is horrible, but I'm here for the drama. So it gets into this really interesting conversation, especially when it comes to like friendships for you and stuff, because even I sometimes feel bad when I come to you asking 600 questions. I try not to.
Well,
It's
there's a
like I
difference.
would
You're
I
talking about work, so there's a difference when it comes to work.
it is a difference with work, but sometimes I really just want to pick someone's brain about things, but I got to stop
Mhm.
myself because even I, as a practitioner, have realized you can get a little bit obsessive when you know the answer to too much. So,
Mhm.
how do you kind of manage that with friends who want to know too much, or even clients who just want to know too much? And sometimes you just don't need to know all of that. How do you manage?
So there comes a time where I have to let them know, you're deep, you're diving deep, and I get it. And I know that you want to know every step, but the problem with every step is you're interfering with your life.
Mhm.
Being able to be told every single thing that you're doing, it's not living your life. If you're telling them every second of every day, you're not getting the chance to live. You're being told how to live your life rather than having your free will in order to move forward, to do the things that you want to do, to live how you want to live. And that's why I tell everybody, when you get readings, never give over your free will to what you're doing to any reader. I don't care who it is. Never allow yourself to give up your free will based off of somebody, or based off any type of reading. Know that you've been warned, or know that you've gotten some insight, but know that if you want what was said to you to happen, you need to follow that rule, yes. But if it's something that you don't want to happen, you need to find a way to make that happen. The psychic can provide that for you 9 times out of 10. Sometimes they don't know the answer to that. And that is something that you need to. Now, spirit will play games with you. I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but, and I try to explain this a lot, is when, let's say, someone comes to you with a question and they're not being quite truthful because they're trying to push their narrative onto the situation. It's like spirits like shuts it down and it's like, tell them whatever. And then they just throw information at you. So in order to get those positive, real readings, you have to not, don't embellish what's happening. Let's talk about the real stuff so we can get you those real answers, because spirit will play games with you. And if they feel like you're wasting their time, they're going to waste yours too. And then we're the middleman getting the message, telling you the message, going, oh shit, I don't feel like this is right. I've done readings where I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying, and I'm not getting what you're saying. So someone here is not telling the truth. And I've had to do that. I don't want to call people out. Sometimes I just let them do what they got to do. And I'm just like, you know what? This ain't going to work out. And I'm just going to tell them no. And unfortunately, you got to tell them no in a way that, you got to deliver the information. So let's say if they're asking something that's truthful, but it's still a no, you have to give them the delivery and make them understand why this is a no, because something else bigger is coming. So it's all about delivery. It's all about giving them the answer and going further into it. So if you got to know, there's a reason why you've got that no. Why do you have that no? How am I going to get here? How am I going to get to the end goal here? Maybe what's happening with you is not something that's going to be your end goal, something that you are pressing for, that it may not be the time in order for you to be able to move forward. So sometimes things just take a lot of time. I know, I've been there. I was like, this is going to take forever, because I see things for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned very young that don't go against what you're seeing during it, because every time you do, things get screwed up. So I've stopped going against, even though I want it so badly and I'm still being told no, I have to learn to let it go.
Yeah. That's really important because
Mm-hmm.
we as psychics and spiritual people, we like to hold on. We feel things so strongly, and it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of sucky when you think about it. Like, this is the coolest and the worst superpower ever. You can see what's coming, but you can't change it. But then for some of us, we can't see what's coming for ourselves, but at the same time, you can't change it. You just have to take what it is. And it could be really great and really horrible. It could be like your house is burning down and there's nothing you can do about it. It's like, well, dang, okay. So what do I do from here? So this kind of brings me into my next question,
Mm-hmm.
especially interpersonal relationships. We talked about this briefly before, and I was
Okay.
really interested in this. You kind of know everything you need to know about a person before you even meet them. I think you knew what you needed to know about me before we even had a conversation. That was wild.
Yes.
I want to know, how do you navigate life being able to see your connection with people before it even comes into fruition like that? How does how do you navigate that?
So when it comes down to meeting people, connecting with people, having friendships and things of that nature, knowing that energy changes on a regular basis. So what's being brought to my attention immediately may not necessarily be the way that they respond or act with me. So they could act differently, but there are times where people decide that they're going to show their ass. And when that happens, I say, we've spent enough time on earth together. Have a great life. I'm not going to when you're showing me who you are, I'm going to believe you.
Mm,
And when that comes to the surface, I'm out. I'm out. So, or if you come to the surface and show me who you are, and it's a great person, that maybe like I understand people go through things, and I understand um, the way people communicate sometimes may be different than the way I do, but I don't hold that against them. It's when
mm,
the attacks come out, when someone, because they're not getting their way, or I'm not giving them what they want, there can be an attack. And by that point, I'm just saying, you know what, you can handle your life however you want, but the minute you want to act like a Karen with me, you can talk to everybody else but me. I don't have to subject myself to that type of energy just because you're in a mood and then
mm,
expect me to accept that as my own energy. It's not mine. I'm not projecting it. I have shielding for that. I have protection for that. And I'm not going to allow it. You don't hold it there. And that's what I see a lot of people do nowadays, is that they're like, they turn a cheek, they turn a cheek. Remember, guys, you've got two cheeks. Unless you're counting your butt cheeks, then you got four. But even after that, you don't have any more. And people keep giving these chances to people, and they're giving them more than they deserve. When you give somebody an opportunity and they ruin that opportunity, and you'd like to be able to give them another chance, you need to give it some time before you give them back what they've already had. They've got to earn back not only your trust, but your respect and everything else that goes with it. And
mm,
I'm all about empowering people. I want people to feel empowered. I want you to understand why you went through a situation. I know people out there who have been abused. They didn't understand why, but then there's a couple of those people that have been abused, that have been in these situations, that they end up becoming counselors, or doing different things with their lives, that experience they went through was able to help other people. And I was like, and this is why you went through that. This is why you experienced that, because you were going to be a brighter light than you currently already were. Now, the universe is going to do what? Everybody's a bright light, but the universe will shine some darkness on that, because it's trying to create a balance. How long do you allow the darkness to stay on you? You either keep it or you let it go. And I know sometimes letting something go hurts, but it's something we have to do. So in my life, I can see when people come to me, I can see the type of person they are. If they shift it and become somebody else that I don't recognize, or I don't want to be around, I say my goodbyes. I make my distance. I give them a chance to change their ways, but I give you the chance to make your opportunity. And how are you going to use that? How are you going
mm.
to come to me? How are we going to be friends in that case?
That's interesting, because maybe, okay, chaos started. I think I'm just empathetic, because I would say, if I could see this going in the worst direction, I'm like, I gotta go. See ya. Peace.
This is, and you just said the word empathetic. Yeah, you can have empathy. You can be empathetic, but you have to learn as a person how you need to control the energies and the people around you, because if you allow too much toxicity into your life, you are who you hang out with. So if you're hanging out with a lot of toxic people, you're going to become a toxic person.
That's
So
very
only allow them boundaries. There's nothing wrong with a good boundary. If someone crosses them boundaries, then they don't respect you,
mm.
and it's
So
all about themselves.
yeah, a lot of people. It's like we attract narcissists too. We attract that,
Yes,
like flash.
attention seekers. Mm-hmm.
It's very weird. I hate it. But do do you kind of feel like, and I want to find a good way to phrase this kind of question,
Mhm.
in terms of how essentially you can kind of see where their intentions are, or where their feelings, or where they're placed at in this moment. Do you almost feel like it's like a type of aura reading? It's almost in that same vein, but a little bit more in depth. How does that form for you? How does being able to see that timeline, or is that just a natural gift that you're just blessed with?
Um, when it comes to timelines, it just depends. I can look at a scenario and be able to base a timeline. I can see numbers within that. So numerology works really well with me. So I'm pretty good with numerology and astrology. I see astrology very differently than most people. Most people have to make a chart and do stuff. I can actually see it in my mind in a 3D form, which I've had to explain to Squirrel, which got her super ecstatic and led us down a 8-hour conversation. And she started playing. She started playing with my mind like it was a new toy, and she would say, "What about this time?" And I would conversate about that. So when it comes to timelines and things, I do see them. The thing with timelines is that nothing's ever time does not exist in other realms, and time does not exist. It is only a mathematical equation for us to measure.
Hmm.
Time is a measuring tool. So it's here on earth. So we do things by time, mathematics, numbers.
Mhm.
So yeah, we do that here to measure years, days, hours, seconds. But in the spiritual realm, it is not always given. So I have to look for those things like, are they wearing a scarf? Are they wearing this? What is the month? Do I see a calendar? I have to look around in the reading to see if I can't find a time, a date, or an energy that can show me if it's really soon, if it's further out. It just depends on what I can grasp. Sometimes time is not given, and I have to let them know there's not a time frame on there. And for that reason, spirit does hold will hold back information,
Mhm.
and they won't always be as forward in telling you everything that you need to know. So with that, they withhold that information, and then you can't provide that information. And the person, yeah, they may get upset or they may get pissed off, but at the same time, the universe is not allowing you to know because they know about who you are and that you will sabotage that situation, which in those cases, those are situations where they need to happen. Things need to happen for you, and there's not a time given for you, so you don't try to change it, because what needs to happen will happen. The universe will make it happen. There will be times where you try to fight something so badly. Sometimes you just got to let the universe do what it's got to do so you can gain the experience and the understanding, so the new doors will open for you. Not everything's positive, but we can't always look at everything being negative to be a negative. Sometimes when something we see negative happens, it's because it needed to happen, because what you're looking for or what you're wanting or where you need to be is on the other side of what's blinding you in the moment.
Mm. See, this is a dangerous interview because I could break off into 600 different questions. I could pull a squirrel right now. You, squirrel, and energy, I could probably pick you guys apart because I just need to understand. It's it's like, so to explain, I kind of feel like a newbie in this industry. I am technically new in this industry. I haven't been working this field very, very long. Compared to my colleagues, they've been at this much longer publicly. I started
Mhm.
very underground and private. I really wasn't out there publicly like I am now.
Right.
So to hear these different perspectives, I've never had that before. I knew of the different perspectives in a way, but to this degree, I could sit here and question your life down for hours, and I have to stop myself because this will be a 4-hour interview, and we're both going to be exhausted. So I can't.
There's a lot to go over.
There's a lot here to comb over because even
Hmm.
as someone who is spiritually gifted, it's
Hmm.
like you're absorbing new information constantly, and then
Yes.
getting other types of information from other types of psychics because we're not all the same. And it just, from the normal person standpoint, like our viewer standpoint, it might blow your mind. For me,
Mhm.
who's still a baby here, I am just like flabbergasted 90% of the time. Because there's
Well, a
just
lot of
so
people
much.
don't realize, a lot of people don't realize that they all have psychic gifts and psychic abilities. They just don't know how they work. And then some people are good with numbers, some people are good with words, some people are good with their voice, some people are good with their actions. There's multiple things that people can do that they don't realize is a gift outside of the norm.
Mhm,
And you are specifically picked for that gift. If you're an amazing drawer, use your gift. Don't throw your gifts to the wayside.
mhm,
If you're a mathematician, don't give up that gift. Allow yourself to use those numbers. I'm great with numbers. I check those numbers all the time. I'm always looking at the things mathematically because that's how this universe was created. You know,
yes.
you think that we call it math. It could be called something else in the spiritual realm, but we call it math. There's a science behind everything.
Math is
Things that
everything. Yes.
we call it magic, we call it mathematics, we call it science, we call it many things, but everything has a meaning, everything has a purpose, and we just have to be able to wrap our minds around it. And everybody going, oh well, you're a medium, you should know everything. Well, no, that's not how that works. When we tap over, your mind, your human brain cannot comprehend all the information and data that's on the other realm.
No.
That's why you get bits and pieces. It doesn't come in fully like that because you will burn out.
Yep.
I had a psychic friend who she was forcing a mediumship. She was told numerous times not to do that. And she went mute.
Oh wow.
She went mute.
Oh my
She
gosh.
hasn't spoken. She blinks, she eats, she drinks. That's all she does. She doesn't speak. She doesn't walk around. She doesn't do anything. She's
Oh.
wheelchair bound and mute.
Oh wow. Spirit is ooh.
Something came through that was big, and she won't let any of her psychic friends read her. She's got a barrier up. She doesn't want any readings. She doesn't want anybody to know what happened to her. I think
Oh
she's afraid
wow.
that what happened to her will happen to somebody else if they read what happened.
Oh wow.
So
Right.
she
Wow.
definitely blocks it off. She's done many bindings to herself. She does
Mm,
not want to be a psychic no longer, and she does not want to communicate any further.
wow. That's wow. I
Yeah.
didn't know it could happen like that. Oh my gosh. That's a conversation we're gonna have later. That's interesting. But now I have to ask really quickly because I do want to shift gears in a few. But do you feel like there is a link between spiritual capability, spiritual prowess, and the effects on the physical body? Like, say the stronger you are spiritually and closer to spirit you are, the more physically weak you are, like in your human based
Right.
form. Do you feel like that is an accurate thing to kind of say, or how do you feel about that?
So when it comes down to when you are, let's say you're opening up yourself, I always tell everybody who is beginning, who's practicing, keep a crystal, keep a candle by yourself, allow the energy to come through the crystal to you. Do not take it in directly. Those of those of them that don't find themselves under a protection or the energy that they need um, will find that they'll end up with diabetes, they're chronic pain, they're overeating, they can't sleep. There's a ton of things that end up coming through when you are not protecting yourself. Unlike most, I learned Reiki, and now before I learned Reiki, I did use my candles, I did the crystal, but constantly um, I was constantly doing readings. And so it would burn out that candle, it would burn up that crystal. And I was just shining too much energy on myself. It was all I was doing. I was doing it from sun up to sun down. And it was 24 hours a day. I was just waking up and answering calls and, doing readings no matter what time of the day or night it was. I was on constant alert and kind of burnt myself out. It ran the body down. I have neuropathy and some, diabetes and things like that have been a major effect by that because, I wasn't someone who was eating bad foods and things like that. I actually ate really healthy. I love vegetables. I love, great proteins for myself. So I've always been on that track. But unfortunately, due to me not protecting myself quite the way I should have, I was doing too much and going and, doing all that. Energy it was unhealthy for the body. But if you are capable of tapping into Reiki, I recommend Reiki for everybody because you can use the energy of the universe in order to power yourself for readings. That way, the only thing that you're doing is taking in the energy that is positive from the universe. You're not using up your own energy to burn yourself out because that's not something you want to do. Trust me, it's not easy, but it's not fun to burn yourself out either.
I might be a good many moons too late.
Yeah, you might want to jump on that.
I might have to start jumping on that because I am the chronic pain baddie of one of the chronic pain baddies of the group. I am constantly the sick child here, or at least I feel like I'm constantly the sick child, and that I feel like I've been nerfed since like birth. Like I was already genetically disposed to certain things by the time I was like in my 20s and things really started exploding for me. That's when I just humbled. And so I'm like, ooh, oops. Oops, I messed up a little bit. My bad. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna get some protection for crystals in this house. Good Lord, that's a real funny revelation for me. I've done jacked myself up.
But you do it without realizing it. I mean, there's no guidebook that comes out into the world where, so you think you're psychic, here's the guidebook. There are books out there that do give information, but here's the way I teach is I have that capability, and I've shown many of the psychics that work here how to tap into their own. And so I teach you how you accept things. I teach you how you process things. I teach you how it works for you. So it's a process. It's not something that happens overnight. It does take it could take a couple months, it could take a couple years. But my students are always coming back, learning new information. I learn things from my students. I learn things from my clients. I learn things from the show when people are talking, and I see a lot of people are like, I'm the master this. I'm like, I hate that word master. Master means that there's nothing else for you to learn. You know everything. Last time I checked, there wasn't a big red phone in your office that said God. So unless you have that type of direct line, you don't know everything. And even that, you're not the one that knows it. You're getting it secondhand from somebody else. Yep. So never call yourself a master. Always be open to learn, because even with the way that we do things, we still learn about different changes, or the way we thought we saw it was not quite the way it was. So we check that out. We're always in a constant state of learning. I am. I know I am. I'm still learning.
I mean, I'm open to hearing everything, which is why I try very hard to not dismiss what everyone feels, like even religion wise. I'm like, if it rocks with you, it rocks with me. If it makes you feel good, I'm cool. Like, I just let people be what they are and tell me and show me things. But then I use my own discernment and remember that, okay, I still have a choice to, if I want to take in all of this and believe it or not. It's all up to you. But that learning portion is really important, especially in this field. No one is a master. There's no such thing. It does not exist. You don't master it. You get skilled, and then you learn more skills.
Exactly. And and I know everybody's like, the sky is the limit. No, it's not. We can go beyond the sky. A man has touched the face of the moon. We've got stuff on Mars. We've got Voyager 1 and interstellar space, and Voyager 2 doing the same thing. The sky is not the limit. There is no limit. You can constantly continue to keep allowing yourself to learn, educate yourself. Just because someone doesn't see things the way you do doesn't mean that it's wrong.
Yep.
It's just the way you accept things and understand things and how you process. And that's why I like to work that way. I like to find somebody's way of processing so they can understand what they've been misunderstanding because of the way somebody else tried to teach them.
Yep. Always
Yeah.
open, be open to being wrong, always open to having your mind changed, always
Mhm.
open to saying, well, this is different. This is kind of cool though. It's okay to be open-minded. No one way can be the
Mhm.
only way. There's no
You
only
know,
way.
you just said something there. Allow yourself to be open to be wrong. Is it that you're wrong, or be understanding to the things that, to the fact that things change, and that, yeah, you may not be able to be right all the time, but in the moment in which you were provided the information, that was what was being presented to you. But because someone decided to make a change or force a narrative, everything has changed.
Yeah.
So it's
That,
not that you were wrong, it's that someone took another avenue. When I look at a reading, when I see the avenues, I
mhm,
take the most direct route, which is going to provide me with the energy that is there before me today. But there's 48 other directions that this can go in.
mhm.
That's because she sneezed. That because he farted. I mean, anything can change it. She got mad. He can't read my mind shit. Everybody in the world, communication is key. They cannot read your minds. Please understand that. It's
Yeah.
not how they should just know. No, they shouldn't. They're
No.
processing their own thing. If you want somebody to know something about you, you tell them.
Yep.
That's why I tell my husband everything that I need to get off my chest, everything that I need to tell him. He knows. He does that with me. It's why our communication between each other is amazing.
Yep.
And there's a rarity if we have a disagreement. We sit and listen to each other, but you've got to be open just to listen to them as they're just as open to listen to you. It has to go both ways. We have to be. I know there's a part where we want to be special. Well, guess what? You are special. You're special no matter what you think. You mean something to someone else. You're playing a major part in someone's life, and you don't ever realize it. You are all special,
Yep.
every single person, because you may be the person that put the smile on this person's face to keep them from going down a dark alley. You are the person that's there for somebody who needs it when they need it in that moment. Everybody has a task, and we're all playing a part.
Yep.
Everybody's got their part. Some people are like, well, theirs is more glamorous than mine. Well, do you know what comes with that glamorous energy? Not
Ooh,
something you want to deal with. Well, I'd handle it so much differently. You'd say that, but you're not walking a mile in their shoes.
I've
So
had a lot of
you
that
have
in
to
my
let
life.
everybody's stuff. And I'm sure if Kay is watching, she's writing quotes like crazy. Uh,
Yeah. We're expecting like 17 quotes from UK.
yeah,
We're expecting
here's some new ones on her show. It'll be all right.
it. We're going to show us talking points next tomorrow.
I love it. I love it. And like meeting Kay was an amazing experience. Not only did Kay come to the show, and she was introduced by some people that have been around and have communicated. She brought people like you, and there's other people that have come to me. Um, I get to meet people from all over. And because of the position I'm in, I get to meet even more people. So I feel like this was earned. It definitely did not come easy. I can tell you that right now. Everything that goes on here is definitely not something that comes easy, but it's a place where I feel that we can help people. And I mean, we've been able to keep it together and hold it together and have fun and introduce new people. And it's absolutely a blast. And I'm so thankful that I was shown this direction in order to be able to not only just help the people who are asking the questions, but some of these amazing people like you and Kay and Squirrel and Cassidy and the whole, my psychic connection group, Destiny K, for the chance to be able to let you guys shine and show the world who you are. I just
And
want to give you that soapbox where you can get out there and be like, it's me.
and the problem is me. But
It's just an amazing, it to me, like I said, I can see things where I get where people say this can feel like a curse, but also look at where the people are coming from. But that respect goes both ways, and you just make sure you put up your boundary. It's not rude to put up a boundary, and if they throw a fit because you do not want to cross that boundary, then that's a person that becomes an acquaintance. They're no longer a friend.
Oh yes, they're no longer. And I
Because
think
respect goes both ways.
I want to say this almost not to put words in people's mouths, but on behalf of myself and all of my sisters here on my psychic connection, I think what you have done for all of us is truly a blessing. And honestly, I think we all have so much love and respect for you for what you've done and what you've been able to just provide to us. I don't know personally how to repay you for just the short amount of time I've been here with you and for everything that you've done for someone like me who came out of literally nowhere.
The the payment back for me is watching you guys grow, letting the world see who you are, what you can do, and how you can help people.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't always have to come back in a way of like some type of repayment or reform. And just like, you know, when everybody gets hired here, if there was a better opportunity, a stronger opportunity, let's say Netflix came in and said, hey, I want to do a show about you. What was my words to you guys? Take the opportunity. I'm maybe just the stepping stone to get you to where you need to be seen, but we will support you. That's what we do here. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that every psychic takes it that way. I get people who, because I've, you know, there is psychic drama, guys. There are people out there that will rip you apart because you didn't, they didn't respect your boundaries and they wanted to overstep them.
Yep.
And you can't allow that. You can't allow that type of energy. So I would have to, unfortunately, cut certain people out. And that's not what I want to do, but I have to do it to respect myself. And hey, if someone's gonna talk badly about me, then that's their opinion, and everybody's got one. They're like assholes. I mean, everybody's got one. You know,
Yeah.
you can't control what's going on, but I know what type of person I am. I know the person I will be and who I continue to grow to be. You have to know that about yourself and know that strongly, and the right people will come. You know, even though at the moment you think these were the best people in the world, you come and find out that they had a secret agenda or something was going on. But you have to live that, and I allow those people into my life to see if they will change that narrative. But if they don't, I go ahead and let them go, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, you know, my feelings don't matter or their feelings don't matter, or if they're going to ruin anything for anybody else. No ruining opportunities for other people because you have a problem. Not my problem, your problem. You need to work it out, have a great life, and do what you got to do. I won't talk poorly about you. I won't go out of my way to dish you. That's not what I'm doing here. You do what you got to do. I'm not going to jeopardize anybody's livelihood. Just because you treated me a certain way does not mean you're going to treat the next person that way. Maybe you learned your lesson in that moment. I would hope so. But you know, that's just something. Oh, and Kelly says, you've helped me so much already.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Oh, well, thanks, Kelly. I appreciate that.
Right.
And guys, don't forget, you guys, we got shows coming on after this. I know I'm speaking on Bunny's lines,
but go for it, because I'm about to cry. Go for it.
But you guys are amazing, and I want everybody to see you guys as this bright, shining stars. So,
yeah.
But we have a couple questions.
Yes, let's go for it before I start deciding.
I'm trying to help you out here. All right. So Kelly says, Journey, is there a time when you cannot connect with spirit when someone is seeking guidance? There have been a few times that, you know, spirit has not come through for a person. And what people fail to remember, when we do mediumship, it's not like a cell phone. You're not like, hey, I need to talk to Mark. Yeah, no, his wife is here. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Sometimes maybe the spirit that was considered Mark at that time has detached themselves because they know if they reappear, what they're going to do is hold on to that and they won't heal. So you'll get another family member or a guide that comes in that communicates. So it's not that you won't get any answer, but if Mark is not present, when I get those readings, I tell you, hey, look, Mark's not coming through, but your great aunt is here. She's trying to tell you about this, this, and this, and give you something. You need some type of clarity. There's a reason why you're trying to reach out to Mark, and it's not just because you miss them, but because you need something. There's something within your soul that you need to hear. You need an understanding, and if it's time for you to understand or know that information, it will be given. But if it's not, they won't come forward, and they will not communicate. What they will do is send someone else in their place. So your guardian angels, anybody else but them, just so, and you have to let them know it's not time. This is why when I do mediumships, I let everybody know I would prefer not to give a mediumship to somebody who has crossed over. I wait at least 6 months. We do not want to make anybody an earthbound spirit. And that's what can happen, is that when you connect to a medium and the spirit's communicating, they feel that they have to stay because of this person. They will heal, but you've got to go because you have to completely transition over. And if they get stuck, this is where you get spirits that have been trapped here for millennia because they felt the need that they had to stay. But there's something that happens. It's kind of like a person going crazy, is that they watch their loved ones come and go. They live, they die. The spirit starts to get aggravated because it can't leave. It surpassed its time to cross over. It doesn't remember how to cross over. They get lost. You've heard of lost souls. These things do happen. That's why I try to tell everybody, give the spirit time to cross over. They have to readjust because they are no longer a person. They are in spirit form. You're only human for so long, and then we move over. And there's a lot of things when people are like, oh, you get the big wings and da 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 da. And there was a guy that asked me about that to write a book, and I said, no, you don't want the information from me because it's not bubblegums and rainbows when it comes to the spirit realm. And he told me I was an asshole and left. I was like, hey, I'm just letting you know it's not bubblegum and rainbows. And Kelly said people think that their loved one is always a guide or an angel. That's with them. That is not true. And I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings with that, but that actually is not true. So just because a loved one has crossed over does not mean that they're automatically assigned to you because you loved them the most or you want them to be. It's a beautiful understanding of wanting that to happen. But if there's a baby in your family, if there's a person in the family that needs that, they can go there, or they can actually go to a completely different family and not even be, they'll still come to you, but they're not even watching over you because that's not who they were meant to. We have spiritual families too outside of our human families. So that's mainly where I saw most spirits go to, is their spiritual families. Doesn't mean they love you any less. And you could be a part of that family. You're cut from the same cloth. That's why you guys are connected. That's why you guys come back and forth with each other. But it's unfortunately not the way we would. I would love to just go, my grandfather's my spirit guide, but he's not. As a matter of fact, he's not even in the remote family. He's actually a part of the distant family. I've been able to communicate with him and know that he's still watching over us in a sense of he checks in from time to time, but he is actually taking care of and helping other people. So, I mean, in my eyes, that's just absolutely beautiful.
I love that. I like that.
Yes. And we do have one more question. We're going to have to go because I end up all the time. It's from Kay. She says, is there any one thing you could tell your younger you, what advice you would love to give yourself? If trust in yourself. A lot of people growing up would when I came to, like, when someone would find out about what I could do, and these are usually adults, they would say, get out of your head, trust yourself. I would tell younger Journey to trust himself more, even though even my family would tell me that believe in what you see, and I get that, but it was outside of the family when I went into the world and was capable of seeing things. When I was 5 years old, I told my teacher I saw her husband, and she didn't know. He had passed over. He crossed over that day. And I was like, your husband, that man, your husband. He said he's your husband. That guy. She's like, where? She freaked out. Then she got a call from the office. And needless to say, they took me out of her classroom and sent me to another classroom. And I was never allowed to go back. But my mom had to explain to me that not everybody else can do this. And that I had to be careful with what I said. And as a young kid, I thought everybody could do it because everybody in my family could do it. They have an ability of some kind, and they were able to, share with their family. So when I got that, it was like, okay, you can't see him. He's right there. So she just thought I was crazy and sent me to another class. And then that's when she found out. And then, yeah, she got me out of her class. She did not want me in there. Yeah. She actually scared the shit out of her.
Scared the shit out of her. I get it. I'm just trying to teach kindergarten and I get told some stuff. I get it.
Yeah. She's like, I'm just here along for the ride, but definitely trust yourself. And that's the one thing I would tell younger Journey is, like, don't let anybody get in your head. Yeah. Sticks and stones. Remember that saying? I'm pretty good about, if someone talks shit about me, I'm just like, okay. Your point? Like, do you have a point? Because I don't see one. Right? But I don't mind. People are they're gonna have their opinion. Not everybody's gonna like you, but not everybody's gonna love you either. Yep. It's just, some people love you to death, but you've got to be you. You can't be anybody else but you. And the people who know you, love you, and care about you, they will always be there for you. Yes. And we need to accept that.
Yes, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Journey, thank you so much for coming on and doing this interview. We've swapped places twice now, but our next interview is going to be with Cassidy, the card slinger. So look forward to that next week, y'all. Journey, thank you so much. It has been a pleasure. I'm sure I'm going to pick your brain later about 6.9 million.
Oh, yeah.
So just...
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. But thank you guys for allowing me to be here and tell you my side of a story here, of getting to know who I am and, getting to know a little bit about a psychic's life.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for your viewership. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can catch us again next Monday at 6 p.m. Same place, same time, and you will see my interview with Cassidy, the card slinger. I believe we have 2 more shows coming up. However, Journey, I'm completely forgetting what those shows are. Can you
Tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, we're here with Kay, the Intuitive Empath, and then followed by Journey Ryan live at midnight. Guys, we'll see you guys then. Have a great night, and we'll just a few hours.